Hello friends, welcome to your channel Your Cyberstop, where you learn everything about security in a simple way. To learn cybersecurity, you need to have good understanding of networking. Hence, I thought of creating videos where I will explain network and its concepts. To start with, today we will be learning about OSI model, what it is, what are the 7 layers of OSI model and how it forms the backbone of networking fundamentals. Before we break down the OSI model, let's first understand what the OSI model is and why it exists. The OSI model, which is a short form of Open System Interconnect, is a conceptual framework developed by ISO in the late 1970s, which was then officially published in the early 1980s. So why it was created? Well, back then different computer manufacturers had their own networking systems, which means devices from one brand often couldn't talk to devices from another brand. Now, to solve this, the OSI model was introduced. It standardizes how data should travel across a network step by step so that systems, regardless of vendor, can communicate smoothly. The OSI model is a foundational blueprint, a theoretical framework for understanding and designing a network architecture. It's like a universal language for understanding, designing and troubleshooting network systems. So now that you know what OSI model is and why it was created, let's understand OSI model in detail. Let's start with which are the 7 OSI layers. Starting with application, which comes on layer 7, then comes presentation on layer 6, session on layer 5, transport on layer 4, network on layer 3, data link on layer 2, and finally physical layer on layer 1. Before that, there are some easy ways to remember these 7 layers using acronym. Like the most common one which people use is, or if you Google, you will find this acronym like all people seems to need data processing, or all people seems to need Domino's pizza. Whichever you feel you can remember, use that, or create one which resonates your personality. If you ask me, I love cars. So for me, I have created all powerful sports trucks navigate different paths. So this is easy for me to understand and remember. For you, it might be a different acronym. So work on that, create one for you and try to remember that. Moving forward with understanding OSI with an example before we go into the technical side of each layer. So have you ever ordered a food on UberEats or Deliveroo, Swiggy or Zomato and wondered what's happening behind the scenes technically? I mean, how does your phone talk to a server at the restaurant, get the order placed, confirmed and track its delivery all in real time? No, it's not magic, it's all networking, and specifically the OSI model. Today I'll explain how the 7-layer model works using one simple example of ordering food online. By the end, you'll never look at the food order the same way again. So ISO introduced OSI model to standardize how computers communicate over a network. No matter what hardware, software or brand they use, it's break down communication into 7 layers. And each layer has a unique role, just like steps in placing and delivering a food order. Let's walk through each layer now, following a food app to order food from your phone to the restaurant and back. Imagine you are hungry, you open your food app on your phone. That's where everything starts. You, the user, open your UberEats Swiggy app on your phone. You're craving for burger. So you browse and finally tap order now. This moment where you interact directly with the application, that's application layer where you place your order. This layer handles things like HTTPS, HTTP, FTP, SMTP protocols that interact directly with the user interface. Here, no actual data is sent over the network yet, but your intent has been recorded. User wants burger. So that instruction is now passed on to the next layer, layer 6, which is the presentation layer. So now before the burger request leaves your phone, it needs to be formatted correctly. Your phone might convert the price to dollar, pounds or rupees, ensure text is in English, Spanish, German, Hindi or the language you speak, and encrypt your login and payment details for security. So this is presentation layer. It makes sure that the data is structured in a way both the sending and receiving system understand. It also handles encryption, compression and encoding. If this layer didn't exist, one system might say burger and the other system might interpret it as pizza. So it ensures both sides speak the same format. Now that your food request is ready and formatted, a digital session is opened with the restaurant server by the user. This is like making a call to the restaurant and saying, hey, I'm about to place an order. Are you ready to accept my order? This session layer starts this conversation, keeps it going throughout the transaction and ends it when the process is complete. Without this layer, you could end up placing multiple orders or overlapping orders. Now comes the fourth layer, transport layer. Think of your food order being broken down into individual packages, one for burger, one for fries, one for Coke. Each securely wrapped, labeled and given the order number. So here actually additional information is being tagged. So here the order number is tagged against the order which has been placed by the user. This is what the transport layer does. It breaks your data into segments and puts the order number and makes sure they are all delivered and reassembled in the correct order. It also decides whether to use TCP, which guarantees delivery but it is slower, or UDP, which is faster but unreliable. Now imagine it's time to send food to your house. The shortest delivery route needs to be calculated to deliver order quickly so that the food is warm when delivered. That's the job of network layer. It adds the destination address to the food order. So here, apart from the segmented data which is done by transport, there's one more field added by the network layer, which is the address of the house. That's the job of the network layer. It adds the destination address to the food order. This is how your data gets routed across the network or internet through various nodes, just like roads and intersections. Then comes your Datalink layer. Now that the delivery guy has the route, he also needs to know the door number of your house. This is what Datalink layer does. It adds MAC or the hardware address of the device on the same local network and checks for transmission error using techniques like CRC. Without this layer, your data might reach the right address, but with no door number, it would get stuck in your building lobby. The last comes the physical layer. Finally, your food physically arrives. The delivery guy knocks on your door and hands it over. This is physical layer. It handles the actual transmission of raw bits, its ones and zeros over the network. Whether it's through fiber optics, copper cables or Wi-Fi, this layer deals with electrical signals, light pulse and radio waves. This is where all your carefully prepared and packaged data finally leaves the device and moves over the network and reaches the destination. Once the restaurant confirms your order and updates the delivery status, the data travels all the back through the same 7 layers in reverse order. From the application layer back to yours. Just like the outbound journey, the response is decrypted, reassembled, routed and displayed on your phone as order accepted. 30 minutes is the ETA. So to wrap it up, next time when you place a food order online, remember your simple tap on order now kicks off a complex 7-layer journey from application to encryption to routing and finally to transmission. Each layer plays a critical role in making sure that data is secure, understandable, well routed and actually reaches the right place, just like your food. This is how we understood the OSI model briefly using the food aggregator app. Here we understood how data was further divided into segments, then packet, frames and bits before it passes from a user to the receiver end. Next, we will try to understand OSI model in detail technically. That's your OSI model in brief with an example. In the next video, we'll discuss technical details of OSI model and its 7 layers. Now that you know how OSI works behind the scenes, which OSI layer do you find the hardest to remember? Let me know in the comment box. If you find this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, share your questions or experience in the comment box, and share this video with someone who is building their cybersecurity career. Until then, stay secure, stay curious.